Hello everyone, welcome to my Human Factors research proposal. To start off, I'd like to just say what my study will be focused on, and I'm going to be looking at the effects of stress, primarily when it comes to performance output. I want to see if a small amount of stress can improve the performance of someone. There has been a lot of research done on this topic already, but my study will focus on a larger demographic population to ensure that the results are generalized. The key concepts in this study are performance, stress, and the Yerkes-Dodson law. So the overall research question I'd like to answer is, does stress affect the performance output of a person? My general prediction is the more stress someone experiences, the better they can perform on a certain task. So the first academic article that I looked at was a study done in 2021, and they looked at the impact of music on performance. The study takes into consideration the Yerkes-Dodson law because music can stimulate arousal and performance. They hypothesized that music would affect the performance of someone by measuring their working memory with the NBAC experiment. They took 6 participants to measure their performance on a certain task. They found that with the use of Yerkes-Dodson law, it is possible to regulate arousal to maximize performance. So in the case of my study, these results indicate when using stress as an arousal, we can maximize the performance output of an individual. The second article that I looked at was completed in 2020, and it investigated if acute psychological stress would change the concentration performance of an individual. They used the D2 test of attention and the TIER social stress test to measure the variable of interest. They concluded, our main findings indicate that acute psychosocial stress induced by the means of the TSST relates to a stronger improvement in concentration performance as compared to a controlled task. The third and final article that I looked at was completed in 2019, and the study examined the relationship between performance with pay benefits and stress. They examined 40 participants who were either paid by performance or a flat fee. Researchers used a cortisol test to examine the stress of each individual. To measure the performance, participants were given a mathematical test. The results of the survey found that differences between stress and performance are statistically significant. Low-grade stress increases the performance in a task when there is a reward in place. So, with this information, it is hypothesized that an increase in stress can improve the performance output of an individual. The hypothesis for my research will be stress levels will be significantly correlated with an improvement of performance, and my prediction is stress levels will have a strong positive correlation with performance improvement. Participants. I would like to look at a range of participants. I want to start my baseline at age 16 because this is when a lot of people tend to enter the workforce. I want a lot of variation in demographics to see if stress will improve the performance of a controlled task. Participants will be randomly selected. Both males and females will be welcome to participate, and different ethnicities are encouraged to participate as well. In order to receive statistical significance, I need a minimum of 30 people and wish no more than 150. I would like to range in professions as well, since all jobs produce a different level of stress. The wider the range in demographics, the more we can show if stress truly does impact performance, and if not, we can show that some are more susceptible to stress than others. Materials. In order to measure stress, I plan to look at an individual's cortisol level after receiving a psychological test that will induce stress. The test that I have chosen is the TIER social stress test, as previously established in the introduction. According to the National Library of Medicine, the TSST induces stress by requiring participants to make an interview-style presentation, followed by a surprise mental arithmetic test in front of an interview panel who do not provide feedback or encouragement. In order to measure their performance, I would then deliver a 5th grade math test. This math test would follow the state expectations of all students in the 5th grade. So my planned procedures are, before even starting, my research assistants will fully inform participants on their part in a study and will give each individual a consent form to fill out. After this, participants will come into a classroom individually and will be giving the TSST. To measure their stress levels, I would like to use a cotton swab cortisol test. Then, after all participants have completed the TSST, they will take a mathematical exam together. This exam will have a reasonable time limit. I also wish to encourage them to perform well by giving them a reward or an incentive. After the exam, participants will be debriefed to ensure no psychological harm has been done, and everyone will receive a contact card if they have any further questions. My expected results from this study are, we expect to see participants do well on their exams because of the stress. They have a bunch of different factors that are putting stress on them because of the TSST, the time limit on the exam, and the reward for the highest score. Based on previous studies, researchers have found an increase in performance when there is a presence of stress. These are my references, and thank you all for listening.